Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's incredibly personal for so many of us, but often gets simplified or misunderstood. We're going to talk about what really happens to kids when their parents get divorced. This isn't just about custody battles or moving between two houses. It's about the quiet internal shifts that change a child's world forever. To explore this, I want to introduce you to someone named Larry. Larry was only 8 when he first realized the world could break quietly. There was no storm that night, no raised voices in the kitchen, no shattered glass to mark the end of a family. Instead, it was the silence that struck him. The silence of two people who no longer looked at each other the same way. The silence of love slowly folding into something unrecognizable. He remembered sitting at the dining table, tracing circles on his plate with a fork as his mother and father exchanged carefully measured words. They weren't fighting anymore, and somehow that was worse. Because even at 8, Larry could feel that the absence of conflict did not mean peace. It meant distance. This quiet breaking is something countless children experience. It's not a single, dramatic event, but a slow, creeping realization that the foundation of your world is unstable. Larry started noticing things. His dad's car wasn't in the driveway some mornings. His mum would hum a little too loudly while doing dishes, as if trying to fill a space that had grown too large. They started talking about him instead of to him, becoming intermediaries in their own home. "Tell your father dinner's ready," his mum would say, even though his dad was just in the next room. "Ask your mother where she put your soccer cleats," his dad would reply. Larry became a messenger, a tiny bridge between two continents that were drifting apart, and with this role came a heavy, invisible weight. He started to believe, in that secret part of a child's heart, that it was his job to fix it. If he was a better student, maybe they'd smile at his report card together. If he cleaned his room without being asked, maybe they'd have one less thing to be tired about. He became a good kid, a perfect, quiet, unobtrusive child, hoping his goodness could somehow patch the cracks forming in his family's foundation. He learned to read the emotional weather of a room before he even entered it. Was it a tense, stormy day or a fragile, sunny, buckhole day? He became an expert in emotional meteorology, a skill no 8-year-old should have to master. This is the hidden burden of a child of divorce, the premature adulthood. You become a little adult, a diplomat, a peacekeeper. You learn to swallow your own needs because you sense the adults around you are already overwhelmed. Larry never cried about his parents. He didn't want to add to their problems. Instead, he'd go to his room and methodically arrange his toy soldiers, creating perfect, orderly lines in a world that felt chaotic and out of his control. This self-suppression becomes a habit, a survival mechanism that can follow you for the rest of your life. Then came the talk. They sat him down on the living room couch, one parent on each side, a carefully constructed buffer of space between them. They used words like separate, love you very much, and not your fault. But for an 8-year-old, those words are just noise. The only thing Larry heard was, everything you know is about to change. The phrase, it's not your fault, is meant to be a comfort. But for many kids, it just highlights the possibility that it could have been. It plants a seed of doubt. He replayed every argument he ever witnessed, every time he misbehaved, wondering if that was the one thing that tipped the scales. The aftermath was a logistical whirlwind. Packing boxes, 2 bedrooms, 2 toothbrushes, 2 sets of everything. Larry learned to live his life out of a backpack, becoming a permanent visitor in his own life. He mastered the art of code switching. At Mum's house, the rules were strict, the schedule was tight, and emotions were kept under a tight lid. At Dad's new apartment, life was more relaxed, with pizza for dinner and late bedtimes. It was like learning to speak 2 different languages, to be 2 different versions of himself. He was Mum's Larry and Dad's Larry, and somewhere in the shuffle, he started to lose track of just Larry. This dual existence creates a unique kind of loneliness. Even when surrounded by people who love you, you can feel fundamentally split. You can't fully relax in either home because you're always aware of the other one. On Sunday night at Dad's, a sense of dread would creep in about the transition back to Mum's on Monday. Holidays became a complex negotiation of time and fairness, turning moments of celebration into sources of stress. Larry learned to feel guilty for having a good time with one parent, as if it were a betrayal of the other. Joy became complicated. As Larry grew into a teenager, these early experiences began to shape his relationships. He became fiercely independent, afraid to rely on anyone. If the 2 most stable people in his life could leave each other, then anyone could leave him. He found it difficult to trust. In his first romantic relationships, he was always waiting for the other shoe to drop. He looked for the subtle signs he learned to recognize in his parents, the shift in a glance, the change in tone, the growing silence. He became a preemptive heartbreaker, ending things before he could be left, believing it was the only way to stay in control and avoid the pain he knew so well. This is a common echo of divorce that we don't talk about enough, its impact on our ability to form secure, lasting bonds as adults. We carry the blueprint of our parents' relationship inside us. If that blueprint shows that love is fragile, that commitment is temporary, and that conflict leads to abandonment, it can be incredibly difficult to build something different for ourselves. We might subconsciously recreate the patterns we grew up with, or we might swing to the opposite extreme, avoiding commitment altogether. For Larry, the turning point didn't come until his mid-20s. He was in a serious relationship, and for the first time, someone called him out on his patterns. "It's like you're always holding a part of yourself back," his partner told him. "You're here, but you're not really here. It was a painful but necessary truth. He realized he was still that 8-year-old boy, arranging his soldiers, trying to control a world he was terrified would fall apart at any moment. He was still living in the silence, waiting for the quiet break. This is where the healing begins. It begins with acknowledging the 8-year-old inside of you. It begins with understanding that the survival skills you learned as a child might not be serving you as an adult. Being a hypervigilant people pleaser might have kept the peace in a tense household. But in a healthy relationship, it prevents genuine intimacy. Being fiercely independent might have protected you from disappointment, but it also keeps you from experiencing the beauty of true partnership. Healing means grieving the family you lost, and also grieving the childhood you had to leave behind too soon. It means allowing yourself to be angry, to be sad, to feel all the things you suppressed, to be the good kid. And most importantly, it means learning to believe that a different story is possible for you. The end of your parents' love story is not the end of yours. It is a part of your history, a chapter that shaped you profoundly, but it does not have to be your destiny. If any of this resonates with you, whether you're a child of divorce yourself or you're a parent navigating this difficult path, please know you're not alone. The quiet breaking is real, and its aftershocks can last a lifetime. But so can healing, so can growth. For Larry, learning to trust, to be vulnerable, and to believe in the durability of love was a long, hard journey. It meant unlearning a lifetime of defensive behaviors. But it was a journey that ultimately led him from being Mum S. Larry or Dad S. Larry back to just being himself, whole and complete. The experience leaves an indelible mark, but it doesn't have to be a life sentence of relational dysfunction. It can also foster incredible resilience, empathy, and a deep understanding of human complexity. Many children of divorce grow up to be exceptionally compassionate and intuitive adults, precisely because they mastered that emotional meteorology at such a young age. The key is to bring the unspoken into the light, to talk about the silence, the split identity, and the fear. If you're a parent, create a space where your child can talk about their conflicting loyalties without fear of judgment. If you're an adult still carrying this weight, consider talking to a friend, a partner, or a professional. Recognizing the pattern is the first step toward changing it. You are not broken. You are a survivor of a quiet kind of heartbreak, and you have the strength to build a future filled with the noise of laughter, connection, and a love that lasts. Thank you so much for watching and for holding space for this important conversation. If this video helped you, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. And share your own experiences in the comments below. Your story might be the one someone else needs to hear to feel a little less alone. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.